Oh my word! What an end to a game. Um, I don't want to say what a game. I did say that actually in my community post, but I don't want to say what a game because it was wasn't the greatest game, was it? But the ending was something special. And obviously we'll get onto that and the main 7 points in a bit. But as usual, let me just check what's going on with my stream. Okay, pop the chat out, man. So I'm begging you. I am begging you, YouTube. Someone who works at YouTube, fix this damn issue with the pop-out chat going back into normal every single time I restart my stream. It's so frustrating. Uh, oh my word. I I've just seen that. Yeah, I if I was one of the Manchester City youth coaches, I would be so proud right now. They've got two of their right wingers scoring hat tricks in the space of like a couple of days. Um, Chelsea are a bipolar club in truth. I think that's the best way we can kind of describe us. Um, I man, it's so we get this feeling a lot, right? It's so weird because I don't know how to feel because we played utterly terribly, somehow won the game, um, and like obviously I'm happy we've got the 3 points against a relatively I don't want to say a good team because they're not. They were fucking shit, but 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 we somehow went behind, somehow came back. So, went ahead, went behind, and then went ahead again, which is just bizarre. And yeah, I'll hit the intro. We'll go straight into the main points because just Christ alive, what have we just watched?
Lads, lasses, and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC, and welcome to Feeling Blue.
Okay, welcome to Feeling Blue. As usual, I will be giving 7 points for this, my lucky number of 7 points, where we go from our good feelings on the left to our bad feelings on the right. And then, obviously at the end, we'll crown our true blue. Do I even need to? Do I really need to? Because I don't think we do. I think it's pretty obvious who's going here. And I could just put them there now, immediately. And I don't think anyone would complain. So I do have 7 points. One is a bit of a contentious one because I could kind of only come up with 6, and I might need your help with the other one. But I have got a 7th, but it's a bit of a shaky one. I just kind of want to firstly point out our league position and stuff like that because I think it's important to do so. So we are currently in 10th now. We've gone up 2 places to 10th. We're still in double digits, which is annoying. If we had sealed this game out more smartly when we were 2 goals up and got on a third and kept that at 3-0, we would have been in 9th above Brighton due to goals scored. But unfortunately, that's not the case. As it stands, though, we have a game in hand on every single team above us, and 2 on West Ham, I believe, who are also above us. If I check the table, actually, something really interesting is occurring. So obviously we are on 43 points, the same as Brighton ahead of us. Newcastle have 44, West Ham have 45, United have 48. So if we win our next game, we get 46 points. If my math is correct, at least, that puts us into 7th. If we do not get European football next season, then I genuinely will be shocked, and it will be an absolute criminal act if Pochettino somehow does not get us Europe next season. It will be criminal. We have 1 game in hand on Brighton, Newcastle, and United and Tottenham, but obviously we probably won't be able to get up to Tottenham. And let's be real. And then we have 2 games in hand, two games in hand on West Ham, who only have 2 more points than us. Our next game, as well, is against Sheffield United, who are, let me see, we're all the way down in 20th place in the league with 15 points. If we do not beat Sheffield United and somehow do not climb up to 7th, I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I genuinely do not know what I'm going to do. But Christ alive. Let's start talking about this game, shall we? I'm going to, as I said, start on the good points, then go to the bad points. The first good points for a player that I think that kind of went a bit under the radar, and obviously with the dramatics that happened late on in the game, I think that he would not be a player that most would mention in the good box, and that's going to be, if my thing would stop lagging, for Cucurella. Now, I think he had a really, really good game, quite a sleeper game. He was busting the gut to get up into the attacking areas, which is something that he doesn't often do. He is more of a defensive left back, and I put about this on Twitter, but I posted about this on Twitter. But the thing which I'm really impressed with Cucurella with this season is that the fact that he has really reined in that crazy aggressiveness that he has all the time. And it's something that kept leading to mistakes and him being out of position, things like that, in the previous season. But he's really reined that in, and he kind of now knows when to be aggressive, when not to be. He still sometimes does lose his head a little bit, but I think in this game in particular, he was stopping so many of their attacks on that right side, and it was very evident that all of United's successful attacks came down our right side, and admittedly that was because Gusto was basically non-existent in this game because he was just up the pitch the entire game. But I think he had some really good defensive moments. He had a lot of moments that not only were good defensive moments but set us off on the counter, and obviously a lot of those didn't really go the way we wanted. But yeah, I think Cucu had a really, really good game. Obviously, I believe he's the player that got fouled for the first penalty that Palmer took and scored. So he gets in here. Let's move into the medium box. And this is going to be... I could genuinely put him lower. I could put him here. But he scores our first goal, so I can't. And it's for Conor Gallagher. The only reason he's in this box is because he scores that first goal. Everything else, he would be literally here. He'd be off the screen. He was so bad in this game, I genuinely wanted to rip my eyes out watching him. And it really frustrates me because the player that comes on eventually to replace him deserves to play over him so much more. He deserves it so much more, and he just never gets a game. And it's frustrating because we have to see this useless, clueless roadrunner play for us every single game and just have zero knowledge of how to play in the 10. And when we have a player like Cole Palmer, who is a fantastic and creative player and can play in the 10, we have players like Madueke, who's shown that he can be a good player to play in the 10. Why the hell is this guy playing? Genuinely. Why is he playing? There's that clip, and you'll see this if you go on your social media. There's that clip where he's in the final third. There's an easy pass through into the box to Jackson, and for some reason he tries to put it to the left side, and it just goes off the pitch. It doesn't go anywhere near the play. It just sums him up. It really does. He does everything right until he gets to the point where he actually has to make a creative decision, and then his brain switches off and he doesn't know what to do. And as I said, I would genuinely put him in the bad box, and originally when I started plotting out what I was going to say for this stream, I did have him in the bad box, but then I remembered he scored our first goal and I kind of bumped him up to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put him here, really far over, because that goal is the only thing that is stopping him from being in the bad box. I don't want to stand on the negatives too much, because we obviously have reason to celebrate after this result, but I will. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to pile on the bads. I have 3 bads, and then we'll finish with 2 goods, because I usually finish with 1 good or I'll finish with 2 goods. The first one is just going to be for our defending in general. I could single out players here, but I don't want to do that. I don't think it's fair to do that. I think a lot of our mistakes that we made in this game were not just individual errors, but were collective errors. Obviously, for the first goal that we concede, it's a horrific calamity from Caicedo and Benoit Badiashile. I saw a lot of people being like, what is Caicedo doing? Why is he not going back to the goalkeeper? And I understand those criticisms of him, but Benoit is as to blame for it, because he is just completely on his heels, not reacting, not expecting the ball when it's straight at him, and he obviously gets the ball taken off him, and then we concede. So I think equal blame for both of those two, and I don't want to just single out one of them, so they're both terrible for that. Obviously, the second goal is, again, just complete disorganization and just a lack of lack of game management and lack of being able to just keep possession and control the game. And this is something which I've mentioned in my preview, is that I wanted us to slow it down, not try and play hero ball and just kind of sit on our laurels in a way. And we got 2 goals up, and usually when you get 2 goals up in a game, you can see that out pretty easily. Even if you concede 1, you're still ahead, you know? You've got that cushion. And it doesn't ever feel like that. And I've mentioned this in the past, that Chelsea just feels like, as an institution in general, we feel like when we have expectation on us to do well, we don't do well. And when that expectation isn't there, we start performing. And that was kind of the story of this game, really. We weren't expected to do well against United. I would suggest that we were the weaker team in going into this game, and we go 2 goals up, and it's like, oh cool, well we didn't expect this. And then when you're 2 goals up, you expect to win the game, and then we completely bottle it and go down to 3-2. And then when it looks all is lost and we're playing terribly, right at the end of the game when no one expects us to win, we score 2 goals in injury time and win the game. It's every single time that it seems like we shouldn't win a game, we do. Every time it feels like we should win a game, we don't. And it's just really weird, and I can't explain it. It's paranormal in a way. But yeah, and then again, just 3rd goal again, it's just mistakes. And I will be combining this with Pochettino. I know he eventually made the substitution that did get us back into the game. I will admit that, but just it's so frustrating because this game should have been so comfortable. It should have been so comfortable. We had all of the initiative to just take this game by the scruff of the neck and just completely bully United for the second half. Just keep the ball, play smart, but he doesn't do that. He doesn't know how to manage games, right? He doesn't know how to adapt to when things don't go his way, and then he has no way of claiming the players back. And it feels like that's the thing, is that when there's the whole theory of Murphy's Law, like anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I feel like that happens. I feel like that happens with Chelsea, where if we concede 1 goal, there's another one coming. You know it's going to happen. And I think that is partly down to him, because he has not instilled that mentality in the players to know, hey, cool, even if we concede 1, like, as I said, 2 goals up, if you concede 1, it's not bad. You have that cushion. You can still win the game, obviously. But it doesn't feel like that for us. It feels like if we concede any goal, we're conceding 2. I think this is the 6th game in a row, I believe, that we've conceded 2 goals in a game. And that's it's not good enough. And yes, again, there's individual mistakes, and he can't particularly control that. I do think the individual mistakes are not helped by the fact that we have no defensive structure, no ability to manage games, and in general just a terrible defensive structure, with our deep-lying playmaker randomly running into left forward every time we start an attack, and both our fullbacks committing way too high up the pitch, not having that balance there. But there we are. I think that he has been absolutely bailed out by Cole Palmer, and for 97 minutes of the game, we were losing pretty much, and there was no way that I could defend him and the way that he's managed this game, just because Cole Palmer has decided to be a superstar. And I mentioned this before, and it's really funny that my title for my preview was Cole Palmer to carry Chelsea, because that is genuinely what he's doing right now. Yeah, that he subs off Caicedo instead of Gallagher, which honestly, I was mauled. My head was hot. I was sitting there on Twitter talking about how bad Gallagher has been for the last 20 minutes, and then I see Caicedo's number go up, and I'm just like, what is going on? Obviously, he eventually comes on, and again, it's those late substitutions that do win us the game, technically, because one of the players that I'm going to mention in the good box was a late substitute. But it's things that could be avoided, right? And I've mentioned this in the past, and people have said this to me. It's like, oh, you've got to give Poch credit for when he makes changes and they work out. And my thinking behind that is that I should not be giving him credit for doing the things that he should have been doing anyway. You know, like, you don't give people credit for doing the bare minimum. Like, you see how United, they make their substitutions on 60 minutes and they get all the energy on and they start trying to really go for the jugular. And we come out from half time, by the way, and just look absolutely terrible. Why does this happen every single week? You know, I don't know if you guys have seen that stat thing, by the way, of the table where it's like table for first half performances and table for second half performances, and if you put all of the performances in the first half, Chelsea are 5th in the table, which is crazy. And then if you look at the second table where it's our second half performances, we're 18th. That's how bad our second half performances are every single week. And there was another case of that in this game, and yeah, obviously we come out the second half. It's 2-2 at the break. We come out from the second half. We can see the third goal, and it just looks like we're not going to win. And then obviously we get an extortionate amount of added time, and I guess that's for the majority of that's for Wan-Bissaka's head injury. But yeah, then obviously we get the added time. We get the added time onto added time because of certain things and VAR checks and that stuff, and we somehow get back into the game. What I will talk about, because I have just mentioned VAR checks, and I do want to just finish out this bad box, I don't want to mope too much. What the hell was the referee? I said I don't want to talk about referees ever again. It's been a while since I've had to do this, in truth. What on earth was the refereeing in this game? Diogo Dalot did about 5 challenges that could have been yellow cards. Then he gave away a penalty afterwards. How the hell he stayed on the pitch without even getting carded is a miracle. Genuinely. I'm sitting here like Jared Gillett is the referee for this match. So I'm sitting here like, what is the think? Like, as a referee, what is your thinking? And my brain is always like, if I'm refereeing the game, my first thing in my head is I need to be consistent with my decisions. If I give a yellow card for one team for a certain challenge, I have to give the exact same thing, even if I don't think it's as bad or whatever. If it's the same type of challenge, you have to give a yellow. Why is Malo Gusto getting yellow carded for his first tackle in the game, which isn't even a bad tackle? But we have people like Bruno having spats with players on the sideline. We have Mason Mount obviously getting into a spat with Enzo at the end of the game. We have Dalot committing 5 yellow card challenges and not getting a single card. He should have been off the pitch. Genuinely, he should have been off the pitch. And again, maybe that's one of those things where like we shouldn't be. Yeah, and that again, someone just said that in chat. That's actually like perfect thing. It's that people are going to be complaining and say, oh, the 2 penalties that we got were, then the refs gifted us the game. I do think that the Noni penalty is a bit suspect. Obviously, he is tripped, and it's one of those things where when there is contact like that nowadays with VAR, you have to give those decisions. But it's just like the game would have been really comfortable, because by the time United scored their 2 goals, Dalot should have been off the pitch, and it would have been 10 men, and it would have been much easier to maintain the lead when you are against 10 men, obviously. And I know that we just came off the back of a horrific performance against 10 men when we played Burnley, but that was a performance against 10 men where we basically just couldn't ever get into the game in the first place. Whereas this game, we actually had a foothold in the game, and a red card in this game would have just completely put the nail in the coffin. And I think United, being as inconsistent as they are, and the ending of this game kind of proves that, and they are very parallel to us in a way of how inconsistent they are. I don't think that they would have even. I think that their heads would have dropped like ours do all the time, and they wouldn't have got back into the game. But it's that faith that we always give teams, and I say this: any team that ever scores against us will always have hope that they can get back into the game, because we've never shown throughout this entire season that we will ever show any resistance to when teams try and fight back. And I mean, if we get a red card in this game, maybe this game is comfortable. Maybe we get an extra goal off of that. Maybe we win 3-0, and maybe we go to 9th. Right? That's the difference, right? And I do find it funny because my jinx worked like seven different times in this game. I predicted the first 2 goal scorers correctly, which I found funny, Gallagher and Palmer. Then it went to 3-2, and I was like, oh no, my prediction is right. Oh no, I was trying to jinx us so we'd win. And then eventually, as always, the mono jinx comes in clutch right at the end of the game, and we win a game which I predict us to lose. I don't think it's ever I don't think it's ever been the case where I've predicted us to lose and we have not. We've actually lost. I think every time I predict us to lose, we win. Excuse me, I need to take a sip of my drink. But yeah, so referees were tosspots in this game, and that's all I'm going to talk about that. Let's move into the good box. The next player I'm going to be putting in here is, as I said earlier, a player that should have probably been playing from the start, and if he was playing from the start, we probably wouldn't have had the bail ourselves out, and that's Noni Madueke, because it's his run and his drive and his creative spark and individual brilliance, which we have to rely on a lot of the time, individual brilliance, that gets us back into this game and gets us that penalty. And not only that, but gets us just the belief back into the team, you know? Because we don't have any of that. When it's 3-2, we don't have any belief that we're actually going to get back into the game. Like, yeah, we're trying to create chances, but we're kind of just aimlessly passing around and not really don't actually have that game plan of like, oh, this is how we get back into the game. But it's as soon as Madueke starts off on that run, he gets the better of Diogo Dalot, and obviously Diogo Dalot has made so many challenges and he's a bit hesitant. He doesn't want to get booked, obviously, so he's a bit hesitant. He lets him go through. The United defense is terrible in the situation, just doesn't cover him for some reason. They all just stand in the box and let Madueke drive into the box, and obviously his heel is clipped and he goes down and the referee awards a penalty. And of course, when we get a penalty, you know exactly what's going to happen. Oh, Phil Carr with the super chat. Thank you for that. You haven't actually attached a message, but it's I think it's just a super like. Wait, can I? It says I can celebrate the first thing. Can I do that? I don't know how. It doesn't let me. But thank you very much. I've been thrown off of my flow. There we go. And obviously we know when we get penalties, Palmer scores them. We know that. It's basically a guaranteed goal every... You know what it really reminds me of? And it's really funny because I've compared him to this player in the past. I've compared Cole Palmer to Eden Hazard in the past. And it's really funny because one of the parallels that he has is just that incredible penalty record. Incredibly good penalty record. And yeah, going back to Madueke, because I am talking about Madueke. Someone's just pointed out, completes 2 dribbles in 5 minutes, which is more than Gallagher did. He did more in that 5-minute cameo than Gallagher did all game. And in fact, I think what Gallagher did, even though he got a goal, negatively impacted our team enough for me to suggest that Madueke did more in 5 minutes than Gallagher did in his entire tenure in that thing. And I genuinely believe that if we want to move forward as an institution and as a team, Conor Gallagher should not be in our 10 position. If he wants to play in the deeper role, I'm fine with him playing in the deeper role. I think he is very much suited to the deeper role, as long as he is deployed specifically as a destroyer, as a player that will run around, cause chaos, put pressure on players, tackle, do all that stuff, and then just give the ball to Enzo. Right? You can do that. Give the ball to Enzo. As soon as it's a situation where he has to make a cognitive decision to play the ball, it goes awry. You can't do that. Whereas Madueke obviously is an experienced attacker and he knows how to cut in and go central, and he knows how to find a pass, he knows how to create via dribbling, obviously dribbling being his main strength. The thing which I do love about Madueke is, though he's a left-footed player, he does love going around the outside rather than just always being that player that will cut on the inside and kind of be predictable in that way. And yeah, and Madueke gets us back into this game. And I genuinely, if it wasn't for Cole Palmer getting a hat-trick, I genuinely would award the player of the match to Madueke for just inspiring our team in this comeback. But as I've mentioned him, let's get this over with. Obviously, Cole Palmer is going into the good box, and he'll be my final point for this video. What more can be said about this kid? Honestly, he is the only shining light in this team. He's the only player that knows how to play football in our team. He's the only player that can score goals in this team. He's the only player that can assist in this team. He's basically, as I said, the new Eden Hazard of this team, but on the right side, because he's the man we look to. And it is very funny because I've mentioned this before. You know what? Yeah, someone's put it. I need to actually. There we go. We've said it before, but our game plan in games literally just feels like what, well, kind of like, you remember the old Portugal sides, how the old Portugal sides used to just be, hey, let's pass to Ronaldo and see if something happens. That's what we are now. We are like 2014-15 Portugal, where we just give the ball to Palmer and say, hey, go on then, score us goals. And it's really funny because when we're chasing the game and we are 3-2 down, it is literally just a case of every single time someone gets on the ball, whether that's Enzo, whether that's Gallagher, whether it's Caicedo, whether it's Gusto, whether it's one of our centre-backs, it's immediately, let's see how quickly we can get it to Palmer. Because we know that he is the only player on this team that is ever going to actually win us games. He is a serial clutch player, and genuinely, without him, we would be probably in the relegation zone. He is just the best signing of the season. He's our player of the season, undoubtedly. The fact that people were even suggesting that Conor Gallagher was our player of the season over this guy is sacrilegious. And to be quite honest, words can't do him justice of how much he is carrying this team. We would not be where we are if it wasn't for him. Do you want to know something absolutely mind-boggling? He now has 16 goals, which is second in the entire league. And the only person he's behind is a Norwegian cyborg that scores goals for fun in Erling Haaland. That is insane, and he's playing for Chelsea. We're 10th place Chelsea, and he is second in the scoring standings. You know how unbelievable that is, that he can do that. It's just, and I know a lot of his goals do come from penalties, but people, I hate when people discredit penalties, and it's like, oh well, yeah, he's got loads of pens, of course he's going to score. But then, if it's so easy, then why aren't other players doing it? You know, why aren't other players taking the pens and scoring them and getting these high and quote unquote stat padding goals, right? And he obviously is just so good at penalties that we can now just rely on him from the spot, and it does feel like anytime we get a penalty, it's a goal. Like when I was live tweeting when the penalty decision was given, I was tweeting as if we had already scored and gone 3-3 up, because I knew he was going to score. I genuinely believe Palmer has had like 1, maybe 2 bad games in the Chelsea shirt, and even that then, his bad games, because his standards are so high, I don't think they were technically even bad games, they're just not good for him, you know? And it's just... I run out of superlatives to describe Cole Palmer, because he is genuinely just the shining light of this team. And I think when people look back on this season and look back on his legacy as a player, because you know he's going to keep doing this, you know, next season, the season after, if we keep him, because Jesus Christ, we have a really tough job in trying to keep him, because there's going to be suitors looking for him. Especially as a left-footed player. Left-footed players are always way more in demand than right-footed players. If we somehow keep him, there is going to be documentaries made on this particular season and the breakout season of Cole Palmer. All I can say is thank you to Man City for completely overlooking this absolute gem of a player and persisting with your other wingers like Doku, who have been absolutely bloody terrible. That's all I can say. And with that, I think we can finish this off by running the poll. And to be quite honest, if this is not 99% to Cole Palmer, then I will be very, very surprised. But yeah, obviously in this game, Cole Palmer not only scoring 2 penalties, but getting that late goal. And yes, it's deflected, and yes, it's off McTominay, which is poetic, by the way. And obviously we get 2 goals after Mason Mount comes on, which is even more poetic and really, really funny. But even then, like, it's just, when it is the 90th plus 10th minute, just to even have the confidence and the swagger and the good arrogance, right? To just, you know what, let's play this short, I'll take a shot, it'll go in. I just love the guy. Honestly, I love the guy. If he's not in the Premier League team of the season, come the end of the season, then it's a joke. That, like, it will be an absolute joke. The poll is up. Get voting, guys. This is not rigged, by the way, in any way, just so you guys know. It's definitely not rigged. You have a choice. You have the illusion of choice, anyway. Exactly. Callum makes a good point there. Penalties are way harder than. The thing is, Palmer makes penalties look easy, right? For professionals in general, make them look easy, but Palmer especially. Anyone that's actually ever taken a penalty in real life, and like, even when you don't have the pressure of being in front of a crowd of 40,000 people and having a whole club depend on you and having a whole fan base with millions of people watching you on TV, even without that pressure and without that weight of expectation on you, if you're just taking penalties against your mate in the back garden, it's difficult, right? It's difficult, and that's without having to shoot against a goalkeeper that is a professional, right? You're not. You take 10. If you take 10 penalties, right, in the back garden or at the park with one of your mates, you're not going to score all 10. Cole Palmer will. Cole Palmer will score all 10, and that's against professionals. That's with all that weight of expectation. That's with the crowd roaring. Honestly, Johnny, no. I don't remember the last time we had a clean sheet. When was the last time we had a clean sheet? Let me see if I can actually remember the game. No, we conceded to Palace. Was it Sheffield? It might have been Sheffield. Genuinely, it might have been that 2-0 against Sheffield United. I think that's how far back it is. Oh my word. Would you call Onana a professional? I mean, I would, because the term professional, by its very definition, just means someone that gets paid to do something. He does definitely get paid to do it. I will say that. Alright, well, I'm going to wait for one more vote because we're on 68 votes right now. If someone would like to vote so I can make this a very nice poll before I end it, that would be great. I don't think we're going to get it. I'll end the poll anyway. There we go. We got it. Let's go. End the poll. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Obviously, Cole Palmer is going to be the player that is our true blue, and genuinely, I might just put him here and have him immortalized as this true blue for the rest of the season. I'll have to get 2 pictures so I can put him down here as well. I'll actually put his little face here. But what a game. As I said, we've got to go... Oh, what? Wait, it went to 70. It was on 69 when I ended it. I'm counting that. I don't care. I'm counting it. But, as I said, next game is Sheffield, and obviously I will do a preview for Sheffield. Sheffield United is the last game that I will be here before my holiday that I've mentioned in the past. As I said, I have videos for... I will be doing a video or a stream for every single one of the games that I will be missing. So the Everton game, there'll be a video for. The Man City game, there'll be a video for. Whatever the game in the middle of those two is, I forgot which team we're facing, there'll be a game for. And then obviously the Villa game, I will not be doing a video for, but I will be doing a stream because I'll be back by then. So yeah. Genuinely, I might just change the good box to Cole Palmer, the cold Palmer box. Yeah, so obviously there'll be uploads in the meantime whilst I am away. As I said, we've got to face Sheffield, and if we don't get 3 points against Sheffield United and don't get up into the European spots by that time, then I don't know. Hopefully I can come back from my holiday and I can be the proud person and be in my live stream and be like, look at us, we're in European places. We actually get to try and compete for the Europa Conference League, which I should mention as well. This is just an off little thing. I actually kind of like the idea of us going for the Conference League, just because it's a trophy that we've never won. Obviously it's a European competition, so getting another European Cup is just something we can rub in the face of all the other London clubs, other than like West Ham, who's just got one. And yeah, and just I feel like it'll be fun to be able to once again say that we are the club that has won it all, because we have won every single competition we've ever been in, but that's a competition that we have never been terrible enough to actually be in. Well, admittedly, last season we were terrible, but didn't even qualify for it, but there we are. But yeah, I'll end the stream here so you guys can celebrate. I do actually have company over at the moment. My sister and her 2 nieces, or my 2 nieces rather, are over, so I will have to end this as soon as possible. That's probably why you can tell I've been talking a bit quieter. I don't want to disturb people. But yeah, everyone, we can celebrate. I said, as usual, I'll be on the community tab. I'll be on Twitter, as I always am. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. As always, thank you for the super chat again. I forget I apologise. I forget who gave that. I will. There you go. Phil Carr. Thank you for the super chat. And as I said, everyone, thank you for hanging out. I'll end the stream here. And yeah, let's go again. We go again next on Sunday against Sheffield United. Let's go.
But that was just my Feeling Blue match review for this week. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this match in the comment section below, and if you'd be so kind, subscribe to the channel and leave the video a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, or check out some of the other videos on the channel on screen right now. I've been Mono from Mono CFC, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on, you Blues.